third graders. Let's talk about today's learning target for math. I can tell when to use addition or subtraction to solve a story problem. So let's just look at some keywords that sometimes help us with addition. Sometimes you'll hear this word as plus. Remember that the word sum means adding. Both together, add, plus. How many in all or all together? What about if we combine them? What's the total number? If we see some of those keywords, those are telling us that those are going to be addition words. Here's an example. Mrs. Rabe has 5 apples. Mr. Hanson has 7 apples. How many apples do they have combined? That means we're going to be putting them together. Whenever we're putting two numbers together, we're adding. So let's take the look at the opposite of adding. We're going to look at subtraction. All right, subtraction, you're going to see words like fewer than, how many remains, minus, what's the difference, how many more, that's one, how much more and how many more are something that we see a lot of, how much less than, the decrease. All right, so let's just show you an example of what that might sound like. Mrs. Rabe has 15 apples and Mrs. Johnson has 7 apples. How many more apples does Mrs. Rabe have than Mrs. Johnson? We're finding the difference of how many more. I can either subtract 15 minus 7, or I can start at 7 and count up to 15. Both ways, I'm going to get the same answer. Now, today's lesson, we're going to be talking about animal clutches. And all animals lay eggs, but a nest of eggs is called a clutch. All right, most birds, reptiles, and amphibians lay eggs once or twice a year. Insects may lay eggs daily during a certain season of the year. Oh, we all know mosquitoes, they just kind of come out of nowhere. So if you look, here's an example, a green turtle. They're up to 1.5 meters long, and they can lay anywhere between 104 eggs and 184 eggs. That's a lot of eggs. But look down here, the giant toad. The giant toad can lay a maximum, the most that they've found is 35,000 eggs. So it's important to know the different clutches of eggs because that's what we're going to be talking about today. A lot of this math journal we're going to do together. So make sure you have your math journal. We're going to page 36. And you can follow along as we do these together. Okay, 2 pythons laid clutches of eggs. One clutch had 36 eggs. Now, third graders, something I like to do is I usually try to highlight the important numbers. 2 pythons laid clutches or groups of eggs. One clutch had 36 eggs. The other clutch had 23 eggs. How many eggs were there in all? All right, so let's think here. We had one part 36. Oh, I wrote 32. 36. Our other part was 23. Now, we're trying to figure out how many were all together. So, right here, we're going to put this as a question mark. We're trying to find the total. So our number model is 36 plus 23. All right. I don't know about you, but I can't add like that. I can, maybe I can add the ones. 6 plus 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so I get 9. And then I get 30 plus 20, 30, 40, 50. I get 59. All right, what is my unit? Let's look back up here. What were we talking about? Were we talking about cars? No. Were we talking about actual pythons? No, we were talking about eggs. So our unit is eggs. We always want to make sure we have a unit if it asks for it. Now down here, we need to just stop and think. Does our answer make sense? When we put these two numbers together, does it make sense we're going to end up with a higher number? Yes. All right, let's go on to number 2. If you need more time to write, remember you can pause the video. A queen termite. That's like an ant. Laid 6,000 eggs. Termites? 6,000 eggs is a lot. They laid 6,000 eggs on Monday and about 7,000 eggs on Tuesday. About how many eggs did she lay in all? Well, one day or one part she laid 6,000. And another day she laid 7,000. So we're going to add our parts here. We're going to write 6,000. I'm going to have to try to write small. It's a little hard to write with my mouse. And then we have 7,000. And right here, we're going to put the question marks. We're looking for the total when we put these two parts together. Here's my number model. I am going to actually take up a lot of space. I'm going to use my mental math here because if I don't know, I can use paper on the side. I want to do 6,000 plus 7,000. I'm writing them like this because it's easier for me to add them like this. Okay, my number sense should come in. We got a lot of zeros. Now, 6 plus 7. Well, I know that 6 plus 6 is 12, and this is one more. So I get, yes, 13,000. That's my answer, 13,000. Oh my goodness, 13,000 what? Eggs, termite eggs. Oh, that would be awful. I don't want that to happen at my house. And think about if your answer makes sense. Both these numbers were in the thousands. We should end up with a number that's in the thousands. Notice how I'm highlighting this one. I would like you to pause the video and try it yourself. Then unpause the video and we'll go over the answer together. 2 clutches of Mississippi alligator eggs were found. Each clutch had 47 eggs. What is the number of eggs found? I only see one number here. Look at what it says though. 2 clutches or groups of Mississippi alligator eggs were found. Each clutch had 47. Okay, so that means we had the 1, 2. In each one of those groups, there was 47. So even though we only saw one number, they told us each part. This clutch had 47, this clutch had 47. And we're looking for how many total when we put them together. So let's think here. We're going to add these together. Let's add the ones. 7 plus 7 gives us 14. Okay, 40 plus 40 gives us 80. When we put these two numbers together, we get 94. 94. Now, if I just put 94, am I done? No, I need the unit. 94 eggs. My number model is right there. I added. Think about if that makes sense. I don't necessarily make kids think right here, but I do want you to stop and think. If I end up with a smaller number, that doesn't make sense. We need to use our common sense in math. All right, let's keep going. Now we're going to get to a little bit different questions. An alligator had 60 eggs, but only 12 hatched. How many eggs did not hatch? Well, we know that we had a total of 60 eggs. That's not one of the parts. That's the total number of eggs that there was. And down here, only 12 hatched. So we're thinking, how many eggs did not hatch? We're trying to find the difference in these two. I'm going to write my number model over here because we need to do 60, take away 12. All right, you should be hearing your second grade teacher's voice right now going like this. More on the floor. Go next door. Get 10 more. 10, 9, 8. 5, 4. All right, 48 what? 48 eggs. 48 eggs. Does this make sense? Well, if I put 48 and 12 together, I should get 60 eggs because that's how many there were. This is how many hatched, and this is how many didn't hatch. 8, 9, 10, 40, 50. 50 and 10 give me 60. Yes, my answer makes sense. I went back and thought about my answer. All right, let's try the last one. Scientists say a green turtle can lay about 1,800 eggs in a lifetime, but only 400 eggs hatch overall. About how many eggs did not hatch? Again, third graders, we have the total. They have 1,800 eggs that they can do lay in a lifetime, but only 400 come. We want to know how many eggs do not hatch. All right, so if we have a total and only one part, we are going to find the difference between the two parts. All right, my number model is going to go, let's see, over here. I have 1,800. Think about lining up your numbers. And then I have 400. And I want to know the difference between these two numbers. How many did not hatch? 0 minus 0 gives me 0. 0 minus 0 gives me 0. 8 take away 4 gives me 4. And 1 minus nothing. Does this make sense? That 1,400 eggs do not? Well, let's think. 4 plus 4 here would give us 18, and that's our total. Yes, it makes sense. I know that was a longer lesson today, but number stories are really a good thing to know. Remember, never stop learning.